Hi everyone, my name is Logan Self. I'm a graduate student at Texas State University studying digital media, and today I will be talking a little bit about some research that I recently did with airlines relating to social media and how they communicate on social media, especially with Twitter. So first off, my paper was called "You're Now Free to Tweet: The Effects of Twitter on the Airline Industry." And so, some quick little introduction information that I found is social media has really grown in popularity, as a lot of us know, and a lot of companies are using it to kind of promote themselves and really communicate with some of their customers, and that really helps within the word of mouth communication of having their customers talk with their friends and their families and people like that to really help spread a little more about their company. And the speed of communicating on social media is really a plus and something that people really like. They can talk to a representative really quick. You don't have to wait to get a response from someone. You tweet at someone, and pretty quick you're going to get a response to that person. So I really wanted to look at and see what those kind of interactions were like and how it was affecting the customer and also the airline, of course. And with that being said about the airlines, is airlines have a very heavy presence on social media. It's a big area they have moved into. A lot of the people are using social media to communicate, and we have seen a lot of airlines move over into the social media area to really promote their company, any kind of things that they will be having, that they may have going on. So, the previous research that I have shows that customers are pretty engaged with the companies via social media. This is a wide range of interactions. You have, of course, complaints and the compliments and things like that, but you'll have people that are sharing photos of their travels and their vacations that were helped by the airline. And so some research also showed that ads that are vivid, interactive, and have a lot of entertainment components to the ad will really help interact or engage, that is, the customer with the ad and potentially get more interactions on the platform that they are using. And so when it comes back to the complaints that are going to be given on social media, research showed that people that are more active on social media will be happier after they talk with the individual, which is a pretty interesting component to see. And the complaints that were about unprofessional employees are actually more likely to have unhappy customers rather than the operation related complaints, and that is due to people understanding that the plane is not working or there's bad weather and things like that, unlike with of course, the bad customer service. And also, companies really use these microblogs, which when Twitter first started, it was kind of considered a microblog, a really quick thing to get out a message really quick. So if it's referred to as a microblog, we're mainly talking about Twitter. So companies are using these microblogs or Twitter to really help promote their company with marketing, new things they're adding to their company, and things like that. Customers, on the other hand, are using these microblogs to really push out their complaints and their compliments of the company. And so, another thing that we have found with the research is that negative content is going to get more attention on social media. That can kind of go back to just the world that we live in. People are more interested in knowing what's going on with the company and things like that. So, with this previous research that I had done, as well as my personal experience, I came up with two research questions. The first one being, what type of content is mostly present on an airline's timeline? So, again, I don't know if I specified, we are going to be mainly looking at Twitter. So, I'm going to be seeing what the airlines are posting on their timelines. Now, the second research question was, what type of tweets do customers react with the most? Positive tones or negative tones? And I will go more in depth on what a positive tone is, a negative tone, and even a neutral tone. So the methodology that we're looking at, so the airline that I'm going to be examining is Southwest Airlines, based in Dallas, Texas. Everyone in this area, of course, Texas State being in the Austin area and just in Texas in general, Southwest is a very widely used airline in the area, and they have a great reputation of their social media presence. So I really wanted to see what they were kind of doing, because I feel like they may actually be, setting that goal, or you can say, for other airlines. So I did pull tweets from their Twitter. There's an advanced search on Twitter, and so I can really pinpoint, I should say, the dates that I want to look at. And so I am looking at tweets from 12 a.m. on December 1st to 2:30 p.m. On December 1st as well. And so I'm looking at these tweets, and I will be coding them into a neutral. It's a neutral tone. Is it a positive tone, or is it a negative tone? So a neutral tweet is going to be a tweet that is, someone's tweeting out a question, or just a general assumption of something, just a general comment. There really is no negative tone or positive tone to it. A negative tweet are the ones, of course, that are going to have people that are upset, they had a bad experience, their baggage was mishandled, or they had a bad experience with someone at the check-in counter, more things like that. And of course, we'll have our positive tweets that really promote how excellent their flight was, how great a flight attendant was, how easy check-in was, or even maybe they had something bad happen, but Southwest really stepped in and helped out that customer. So we'll be taking a look at those complaints and tweets and different things, and putting them into the right area. So after I had coded everything, I did find some interesting information. So first off, we had a total of 129 tweets that were collected. And out of those 129, I did have 47 that were positive, 18 that were negative, and 64 that were neutral. And so out of the 47 positive, there's only one retweet and actually 37 favorites. Then when you look at the negatives, there's 0 retweets and 5 favorites. And then the neutral, we had 6 retweets and 22 favorites. So after I had coded all the tweets and figured out how many retweets and favorites were on each type of tweet, I figured out how much each tweet would get an interaction. And so with that, I found that an average positive tweet is going to have 0.79 interactions. The average negative tweet is going to get about 0.28 interactions, and the average neutral tweet is going to get 0.34 interactions. And so what that's saying is that every tweet may not necessarily have an interaction. That's why it's on a whole number. Not every tweet's going to have an interaction on it, and that's what we saw. But you'd have a better chance of seeing an interaction on a positive tweet than you do with a negative tweet. It was also found that 60% of the interactions were visible with positive tweets, and the majority of the content was neutral instead of the positive, which is what we kind of thought we were going to see, which was pretty interesting. And like the previous research, we found with the fact that people that experience customer service problems are going to be not going to be happy, rather than the the operation services, you could say. In this research, we found that no matter what the experience was, if it was negative, they really weren't happy in the end. No matter what the airline said to try to make things better, they were still not a happy ending. So those are the results and how they paired up with what we were expecting. We weren't completely incorrect, but also some of the results were with what we were expecting to happen. And then, so like I said, I wanted to do this research to really look at the interactions with the airline company and the customer itself. And so this is very early on study, and there are a lot of things that can be done differently for future reference and for future research. One of the biggest things is have more people to help. Coding 129 tweets, just one person, is quite a lot of work, and I even think you need to look at more content. There was not enough content. The only content that was seen on the timeline period that I witnessed was just customer service issues. There were no promotional tweets from Southwest. Southwest itself never actually tweeted anything. So we need to look at their timeline more than just half of one day. We need to look at possibly multiple weeks to really kind of generalize these findings and figure out how these people are interacting with the airline. And another thing to help generalize these concepts is look at multiple airlines. The study really only looked at Southwest Airlines, and so to help generalize these ideas for the rest of the country, we need to look at American Airlines, United, as well as Delta, JetBlue, and Spirit, the other airlines that are in the country. And we can even take it one step further, not just looking at Twitter, but looking at Facebook, Instagram, and some companies are even actually moving over into the Snapchat world. So there's a lot of different areas one can look at to really see how these airlines are interacting with customers and how these customers are receiving this feedback and what they like and what they don't like. And of course, everyone uses social media differently. Some people may not want to tweet at them, they want to be more private, and then they may still call or write an email, but it will be different to see, or interesting to see how people are interacting with all of these tweets. And so it's also important because the majority of people are depending on social media to get in hold of a representative. We no longer have to write a letter and then wait a couple of weeks to get a response. You tweet at them, you're going to get a response within minutes or seconds even. And then of course, lastly, social media is a huge component of the advertising world for companies now, like we've said multiple times. That is my research. So again, it was talking about social media, Twitter, and the airline industry, and how the airline industry reacts with tweets, and how they help customers on social media, and then of course how customers are going to interpret these actions given out by the airline. Thank you so much for watching.